Welcome to NYSE TV Live. I'm Allison Cossack. Today is Friday, May 24th, and we're coming to you from high above the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. This morning, Oklo will ring the opening bell and open up U.S. equity markets. While all eyes will be on the company this morning, the celebration officially kicked off earlier this month. Exactly 2 weeks ago, Oklo began trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Co-founder and CEO Jacob DeWitte rang the first trade bell as shares of Oklo began trading. The company went public through a merger with Alt-C Acquisition Corp. Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, served as the chief executive for the blank check company prior to the merger. Altman had served as Oklo's chairman since October 2015. After the completion of the merger, here's what Sam Altman had to say on May 10th, and I'll read it, quote, "Today is a milestone for the entire Oklo team. As one of the initial investors in the company, I've seen firsthand how Oklo has proven itself to be a clean energy provider and innovator, developing a cost-competitive go-to-market strategy and solidifying important relationships with regulators, customers, and suppliers. There are huge growth opportunities ahead." Altman has been attempting to connect the AI and nuclear energy ecosystems for some time. This past January, at a Bloomberg event on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos, Altman said that the way forward for AI is through more clean energy, particularly nuclear fusion. He went as far to say this, and I'll quote him here: "There's no way to get there without a breakthrough. It motivates us to go invest more in fusion." Enter Oklo, a company that says it's on a mission to provide clean, reliable, and affordable energy across the artificial intelligence, data center, energy, defense, and industrial markets. Oklo says it's executing this mission through the design and deployment of next-generation fast reactor technology. Furthermore, it believes it has a unique opportunity to enhance its mission with advanced fuel recycling technology to convert spent fuel into clean energy. When you think of nuclear power plants, you probably imagine cooling towers with smoke and fumes coming out of them, but that's not what Oklo has planned. The company has unveiled its plans for the Aurora powerhouse, designed with the goal of simplifying and streamlining construction capability. According to the Gensler architect firm behind the project, the Aurora powerhouse will be capable of producing 1.5 megawatts of electricity. That's enough power to roughly 1,000 homes and can run for 20 years without refueling. Oklo says the proceeds it received from the merger with Alt-C are expected to be used in part to fund the initial deployment of the Aurora powerhouse. It's the latest step for the company as it looks to build and maintain traction. Oklo received a site use permit from the U.S. Department of Energy in 2019 and has also been awarded fuel for its first reactor from the Idaho National Laboratory. Oklo adds that it's targeting its first deployment in 2026 or 2027. Nuclear energy isn't just a hot topic for companies like Oklo or those looking to power the next era of AI like Sam Altman. It's part of the Biden administration's push for cleaner energy solutions as well. In 2021, the administration announced a goal of reaching 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035. And as part of this plan addressing carbon pollution from industrial processes, the administration mentioned finding new sources of hydrogen produced from renewable energy, nuclear energy, or waste to power industrial facilities. And we're just about to go to the boardroom. Let's go ahead and get there. Listen to this.
For those of you I've not met, my name is Lynn Martin. I'm president of the New York Stock Exchange. How good does that banner look on our facade, folks? I'm a fan of talking about everyone's two favorite letters, AI. But what I really have loved talking about, since that became everyone's favorite two letters, is what goes into AI. It's not just a magic box that a rabbit pops out of. It is focused on inputs from the data side, but then importantly, it's focused on power. And what the world has come to realize is that given the amazing compute power associated with AI, we're going to need a heck of a lot of power to continue that trend in the world. And I can't think of a company that is better positioned to continue to drive energy demand in a sustainable way than this company, than Oklo. So it's my absolute honor to officially welcome you to the NYSE community this morning. Now, I'm sure back in 2019, Jacob and Carolyn knew that this was going to be a thing. I just don't know that you knew it was going to be a thing this quickly in the market. But man, what a time to enter the public markets. I can't think of a company that is better positioned to capitalize on this trend from a shareholder value perspective than the amazing company that you've created. And I personally am honored to be your partner in this journey, and I can't wait to see how you continue to innovate, continue to deliver for customers, and continue to deliver for shareholders. Jacob, you want to come on up? And Carolyn, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Congratulations. Please.
Thank you all for coming today. Thank you so much. We're very excited to be part of the New York Stock Exchange family. So very excited to officially kick that off today. Excited to have so many with us on the Oklo team, supporters, longtime investors, friends, family, significant others. Thank you guys for coming again. It's an exciting day to celebrate. Obviously just one step towards what the amazing opportunities that you described are in front of us. It's a staggering sort of confluence of timing and opportunity all moving in the right ways. So it's a great time to seize the moment, a great position to do that, and literally manifest the things that we want to do that get us all excited about working at Oklo, no matter how audacious and insane they seem, because clearly there's a market for it, there's an appetite for it, and I think we have the skills and talent to do so. So thank you guys for coming out today. Very excited about what's ahead. Again, last thing I'll say about the sort of a prep talk, if you will, or pep talk, I should say. Remember to be loud, not yet, but soon on the floor.
Yes.
But just remember, so keep thinking about that, going through those vocal exercises before we get on the floor. So thank you again. Thrilled to be here. Oklo is very excited to be part of the New York Stock Exchange and excited about a very bright future ahead.
Great. All right, don't go anywhere. Don't go. Carolyn, don't go anywhere. So we recently at the New York Stock Exchange turned 232 years old. Last Friday, in fact, was our birthday. You don't turn 232 years old without having a bunch of traditions. So one of those traditions is we present our bell ringers every morning and every afternoon with a medallion. On the front of the medallion are our 6 pillars, our iconic facade, which stands for a variety of things, but importantly, they stand for access to free markets that drive innovation around the globe. And on the back is the buttonwood tree. 232 years ago, we were founded under the buttonwood tree on the corner of Wall and Broad, which is where you entered this morning. So it reminds us of our roots, but it reminds us also of our commitment to sustainability. Jacob's my honor to present you with one, and Carolyn's my honor to present you with one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Get used to the paparazzi. Yeah. One of the other traditions we have at NYSE is no one goes away empty-handed, so you all will receive a slightly smaller medallion, which you can pick up on your way out. One more tradition to do before we head on down. I give you all instructions about how to bring the energy to the floor. You could drop those. It is my honor to present you with your original listing certificate as you officially join the community. I can't think of a company that we're more honored to present this to, particularly since I think you set the record for smallest amount of redemptions in a business combination ever. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it back to the web hosts for those of us joining from remote locations, and then I'm going to give everyone in the room
And that was Lynn Martin, president of the NYSE, presenting medallions and the original listing certificate to Carolyn Cochran, the co-founder and COO of the company, and Jacob DeWitte, the CEO of Oklo. Jacob said this is a great time to seize the moment, that there's a market and an appetite for its innovations, and that he's excited for the future ahead. A little bit more now about what we were talking about before we got to the boardroom, about the Biden administration's involvement in this kind of growth. In 2021, the administration announced a goal of reaching 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035. As part of the plan, addressing carbon pollution from industrial processes, the administration mentioned finding new sources of hydrogen produced from renewable energy, nuclear energy, or waste to power industrial facilities. At COP28 this past fall, the U.S. was among more than 20 countries to sign a declaration to make its efforts to triple nuclear energy by 2025. The declaration recognizes the key role of nuclear energy in achieving global net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050 and keeping the 1.5-degree goal within reach. And earlier this year, the Department of Energy announced several milestones in efforts to establish a domestic fuel supply chain for nuclear energy and reduce its reliance on imports. The Department of Energy also released an information guide and a technical study, all for communities and stakeholders who are considering replacing their coal plants with nuclear. Oklo is one of many companies working towards a more sustainable future. Our Judy Shaw recently spoke with Verizon Chief Sustainability Officer Jim Gowan about renewable energy investments, the success of their green bonds, and the corporate role in energy transition. Check it out.
Joining me today on NYSE Floor Talk is Jim Gowan. He is the Chief Sustainability Officer at Verizon. Jim, fantastic to have you back on Floor Talk.
Judy, great to see you again.
Thank you, thank you. So now, Jim, Verizon is a major buyer of corporate renewable energy. Tell me, why are you doing this, and what impact has it had on your business?
So when you think about Verizon, we run the most secure, reliable network. That's what we do every day, day in and day out. And we really have a responsibility to make sure that we're moving the world forward, where we work and where we live, whether we're in folks' homes for FiOS or whether we're bringing 5G connection wherever we go. So when you think about that, why are we doing that? Well, our networks run on energy. So we're always constantly being responsible for the type of energy we have. That's why we've invested so heavily into renewable energy purposes. But when you think about the what and the why, nothing's better than what just happened recently with Bring Your Kids to Work, because when those kids come in, we do it for our customers, but we also do it for the next generations, and that's super important to us.
So Verizon has sold billions of dollars worth of green bonds to raise money to invest in renewables. Tell me more about these renewable energy programs.
Sure. So Verizon is one of the largest issuers of green bonds here in the United States, and the first one in our industry to do so. So we started our journey in 2019. It was a really interesting time, a lot of fun, a lot of energy around it, no pun intended. And fast forward to where we are now, we've issued over $6 billion worth of green bonds, $6 billion green bonds to $6 billion. And it has truly been a fantastic journey. Last year, when we utilized all the proceeds from our fifth bond, over $990 million went to renewable energy. That's our focus on green energy.
Now, Jim, how large a role do you think companies such as Verizon can play in the energy transition, and what's holding others back?
So when you think about the entire ecosystem and where we're going from brown energy, traditional fossil fuels, coal and oil, to the renewable, whether it's wind, solar, hydro, whatever the case may be, companies like Verizon, as I said up front, we have a social responsibility with all of our customers, whether we are dealing with them wirelessly or through our fiber networks, to make sure we're a responsible company. And that's why we focus on that. What's holding people back? Everything that holds any company back. Supply chain issues, inflation rates, global geopolitical challenges. But companies like Verizon, when we step up and we put our commitment, long-term commitment, and we double down on that, we're sending the right message and we want everyone to come along. Renewable energy is not a competitive space. It's somewhere we want everyone to join.
Finally, Jim, tell me what's on the horizon for Verizon ESG and sustainability initiatives?
So when you think about what's next, well, we're always looking internally. How do we run our networks? Can we make sure they're up when they have to be and when they're sleeping and not using energy when they're not? Are we optimizing our fleet, our electric vehicles? We're working with the automakers. How do we get more electric vehicles in a city like New York where it's very challenging? And then we think about our customers and we say, okay, what's next for our customers? Well, IoT. Anything we can do from an IoT perspective, connect things, smart cities, smart transportation, all those different solutions that we can bring to our customers. And lastly, a conversation is not finished without AI and ML. When you think about the future, what goes on here, what goes on in the home, what goes on in a small business, it's all about artificial intelligence. Well, they all run on our networks. That's why we keep them green.
Jim, it's always wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk today.
Thanks, Judy.
A little behind the scenes to share with you right from the trading floor live here at the New York Stock Exchange. You're taking a look now at the CEO of Oklo, Jacob DeWitte, and Carolyn Cochran. She's the co-founder and COO of Oklo, and they are making their way to the podium where they're going to be ringing the opening bell. I love these behind the scenes pictures because you get to see things that you don't normally see on TV. You can see it right here at NYSE TV, and they're going to be signing the distinguished guest book in just a few moments. All right, so we are about to head to the trading floor, but first Oklo executives explain how their company is distinguishing itself in the nuclear technology space. Watch this.
Oklo is an advanced nuclear technology developer, but ultimately what we do is provide power from these systems. We can sell electric power, we can also sell just heat, or we can sell a combination. That means we make it easier for customers to buy what they really want from these systems, which is the clean, reliable, affordable power and heat, while also providing a platform for us to take technology and scale our lessons learned through a whole sort of fleet of them as we build out and grow.
What we're seeing is utilities moving more into transmission and distribution as opposed to generation. Huge power plants built, owned, and operated by large utilities that maybe spend $20 billion. There's just not a lot of appetite for that.
Oklo is a unique company. We are building our entire design on something called the Experimental Breeder Reactor 2.
The selection of the technology bases we're building off of has inherent advantages to it, but also the model where we have more numbers of smaller plants gives us more data and experience that we can build from and iterate accordingly forward from. And that gives us a huge advantage because, again, nothing beats having real world experience with your real machines and your product. One of the things that I personally am most excited about is what the recycling piece enables, because it's that fundamental approach that allows you to think about not just powering the country for over 150 years, but effectively be able to produce power for several billion years at planetary scales. It's a pretty inspiring and exciting enabler.
The amount of electricity that is needed by AI, by data centers, is astronomical. And a lot of times people want to spend money on clean power, but if it's a lot more expensive, they may not be able to do that. So that's a huge part of our mission, is to make it affordable. And recycling nuclear waste does that.
The other thing that makes us unique is our reoccurring revenue model. We are going to sell power to our customers through something called a power purchase agreement, or PPA. What is great from the customer side is they are getting reliable power from us. What is great from the CFO perspective is that PPA means we will get reoccurring revenue back in the other direction.
That also works very well for investors as they think about the benefits and stability of recurring revenues, and then therefore the growth that can occur as you get growing recurring revenues. It's a great outcome and a great structure that can be realized with this model. One thing we're very excited about at Oklo is the partners we've built external to the organization. They have fundamental capabilities, resources, expertise that is just world class, and it's awesome to be able to work with them.
We are really excited about the partnership with Siemens.
Siemens is going to be providing Oklo with our steam turbine generators.
And it's unique that we are actually able to outsource that because of the size of our power plants and also because of the safety of our power plants.
We're excited about our partnerships with Centrus, one of the leading enrichers in the world.
We're also working with Centrus on them purchasing power from our power plants so they can decarbonize their own enrichment, which requires a tremendous amount of power.
The mission drive is what I think keeps everyone going and keeping coming back to this. When we talk about what we're developing here, it's literally a technology set that can fundamentally be an energy solution at scale for the entire planet. That's something that's pretty easy to get people out of bed to work on things, right? People come to Oklo because they know that they can make a massive impact on the world working here, and that makes you feel pretty confident about helping create a better planet going forward.
Connecting the opportunity is just part of the hustle.
Opportunity is using data to create a competitive advantage.
It's raising capital to help companies change the world.
It's making complicated financial concepts seem simple.
Opportunity is making the dream of home ownership a reality.
Writing new rules and redefining the game.
And driving the world forward to a greener energy future.
Opportunity is setting a goal.
And charting a course to get there.
Sometimes the only thing standing between you and opportunity is someone who can make the connection.
At ICE, we connect people to opportunity.
And we are back here live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Less than 10 minutes to go before the opening bell, when we're going to see executive of Oklo ring the opening bell. Meantime, Oklo is looking to provide solutions for customers across several industries, including artificial intelligence, something that we talk extensively about here at NYSE TV Live. Our Trinity Chavez takes a look at one way AI is changing the game. Watch this.
Waiting on the phone for hours on end just to make a doctor's appointment? Well, you may not have to anymore. GridSpace's CEO is going to tell me more about it on this episode of Taking Stock.
GridSpace is a company that makes artificial intelligence software for contact centers.
And why would people want to know about this? How is it beneficial for companies?
Super exciting time for voice AI. My co-founders and I really wanted to work together, and we wanted to solve a really hard everyday problem. This problem of hold times. So we would be on the phone with a bank, with an insurance company, with a healthcare provider for hours just to get some basic account change done or some information from the company. And as we dug into this problem more, we learned that the companies hated actually putting us on hold too. But the problem was a staffing problem. They didn't have enough people to answer the phones, and they didn't have enough people to actually train them to take care of customer problems. That got us thinking, what if a contact center could work more like a website, where you could go to the website and you could solve your problem really quickly. You didn't have to wait in line, and there would never ever be this, problem of, queuing to get to a person that could, take care of your issue.
So you actually have a demo that we can try today, right? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I made you, Trinity, a virtual receptionist that you can talk to about your upcoming dentist appointment.
Group. My name is Grace. I am a virtual receptionist. How can I help you today?
I would like to make a dentist appointment.
Sure. Let's schedule an appointment for you. What is your name?
Trinity.
Okay. Would you like to come in? The first available appointment we have is tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. For tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. You are booked. I have sent you a text message with the details. We're located at 11 Wall Street in Manhattan. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. 57 seconds, I timed it. So wow, so we were able to accomplish all of this, avoiding wait times, hold times, just the inconvenience of that all in 57 seconds. And I locked in my dentist appointment.
Just imagine those kinds of AI agents in proactive use cases. I mean, think of all the patients that really need to come in for a mammogram, a colonoscopy, any sort of preventative screening that don't have the opportunity to connect with a doctor because their provider doesn't have enough doctors to call out to them and tell them to come in.
Thanks for joining me on Taking Stock.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are back here live at the NYSE. You were just looking at one of the booths where shares of Oklo shares are going to be traded beginning with the opening bell in about 5 minutes. This is a company that had its public debut a couple weeks ago, and its co-founder and CEO, Jacob DeWitte, will be ringing the opening bell shortly. We just did see a lot about AI and green energy throughout the show. Parent company ICE also plays a huge role in green energy. Watch this.
Climate events are rising in frequency and severity. Increasingly, climate risk impacts investment risk. To help integrate these risks, the ICE Climate Transition Analytics tool generates analytics to identify, assess, and report climate factors in portfolios and loan books. Upload a portfolio to generate an array of climate analytics. Access carbon footprinting analysis, avoided emissions data, and Scope 3 emissions data. Conduct net zero analysis. Compare portfolio and benchmark pathways. Check portfolio's progress towards stated decarbonization targets. Conduct scenario alignment. Analyze portfolio implied temperature rise score and assess trajectory against chosen climate scenarios. Calculate temperature scores using the science-based Targets Initiative aligned approach. Access stranded assets data and analyze fossil fuel reserves footprint and country-level exposure. Generate and customize powerful reports, including TCFD-aligned reports that can help you meet your regulatory and stakeholder requirements. Access ICE's Climate Transition Analytics and more today.
Back live here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. I've got myself the head of social media here at the NYSE. How are we celebrating today on social media?
Well, it's so exciting to have a full IPO on NYSE Social. We're on X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'm celebrating with all my folks here who know to tag NYSE so I can see all of their content all day. Guys, how are we feeling about today? Good? It doesn't get better than that. They give me so much energy to work with. We'll be capturing an awesome video today highlighting some of Oklo's great members who are visiting us today for the first time. So in addition to the amazing executive team on the podium, ready to ring the bell in about 30 seconds, I've also got so many folks here to feature from the Oklo team that made this all possible.
Green energy is buzzy, isn't it? Especially on social media.
Yes, and you would be shocked to know that everybody who's working in green energy also has a ton of energy. It's shocking. It's like it was a part of the job requirement or something.
There's a lot of activity here today, a lot of energy. We are feeling it. Thanks so much, Laura Diorio, for your time.
We got 15 seconds.
15 seconds. 15 seconds to the opening bell. We're going to watch Oklo co-founder and CEO Jacob DeWitte, along with employees, ring the opening bell. Watch. Back live here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Still lots of energy going on here after the opening bell. I've got myself more energy. The Einstein of Wall Street, Peter Tuchman. Let's talk about the markets. Wow, what a turnaround for the markets. Last week, the Dow hit 40,000 for the first time, but it plummeted about 1,000 points just in the past few days. Why do we see this every time we hit a milestone? Markets usually do a backflip.
Well, look, milestones are a big deal, right? It's sort of a fast and furious, aggressive rally within the marketplace. And when you hit levels that are technical or landmark levels that are so significant, like a Dow 40,000 or whatnot, you're going to see healthy pullbacks. We saw that after the first quarter of 2020. First quarter, right? We had the best quarter since 2019. We pulled back, a healthy pullback in April, down 10%. Then we saw May, significant rallies all around NVIDIA earnings. And then we're going to obviously hit a threshold, a milestone, Dow 40,000. And we even had these, I printed them up. It is significant, but and we only bring these out when we close above 40,000 on the Dow. I've been here since Dow 5,000 just to age myself. But at the end of the day, when you reach these levels, you're going to see somewhat of a technical pullback. I think there was a lot of rally priced in to NVIDIA earnings, which came out midweek, right? And that sort of fueled it. The Dow is only 30 stocks. The S&P, we were able to regain the 5,200, 5,300 level on the S&P, and I think that's more significant.
Will we see Dow 40,000 again? Will you be able to bring out those hats again?
100%. Look, we are not far off. We are 850 points. I think that's not that. I think we'll probably see it in the next couple of weeks. But listen, it's important to note we are at a crossroads right now. Where is the market going to go from here? Are we going to address the interest rate issue, whether we're going to have any cuts or one cut? Is that going to fuel the market where we need it to go? Or is the market going to pull back? We are really at a pivotal crossroad coming into the beginning of June. Are we going to find foundation here and go higher, or are we going to find technical resistance and pull back?
We usually don't see investors react to the Fed minutes. We saw this reaction yesterday. Well, not like we saw yesterday. Come on.
Okay, look, all eyes are on lately. All eyes are on the market. All eyes are on the Fed. They're listening to every word coming out of Jay Powell's mouth, especially because in the last 3 weeks, not only has Jay Powell been speaking, but all the other Fed presidents and governors have been chatting at different times without any, they're not giving us any leeway around. They're just coming out and blurting stuff. So there's a lot of mixed messaging, and that's a bit controversial to the market. So they're waiting to hear what is it that's going to tell us what's the directionality of the Fed and their decision and strategy around interest rates.
We are on the tail end of earnings season. I'm curious to hear what are some of the big takeaways you have based off of what companies and sectors have reported.
So I can't talk about any particular sector or company per se, but it was a strong earnings season. Obviously, tech has been the biggest front runner of this whole thing. I think it was a good earnings season. I think 70+% came out with outperformance from the expectations, and that's fine. I think overall the market is telling us that there's some strength to the market, right? That tech sector is a big player in this thing, but I think we've seen a broader based rally across the board. So.
Okay, well, so tell me about some of the storylines that you're going to be watching into next week.
Okay, so look, we obviously have a couple of wars going on that's affecting oil. We've got the interest rate story and the Fed. Are we going to get some clarity around the decision making, whether we're going to have a cut or one cut? That's where all eyes are on. Is the economic data that we're going to start to have still trickle out in June? Is that going to point towards a more directionality towards 2% or more towards higher than 3%? Right, so that's really where we are relying here. As I said, this is a big crossroads moment because we've been desperately trying to attempt to break down and head in a trajectory back towards 2%, which is the Fed's goal, right? But unfortunately, we've been bipping up. PPI, CPI, these numbers have been bouncing back up, and we don't want to see that happen.
All right, so I've got to ask you very quickly, these hats that you make, could I see that hat again, the Dow 40,000? What goes into making these? How many do you make when you see these milestones?
So everyone wonders, why? How do I know it's going to hit 40,000? I've been doing this a long time. If you look at the way markets act and trade, you can get a sense of where the market's going on the upside or downside. I've been doing this since Dow 10,000. It's super exciting for me. It's a big look. We're in the greatest institution in the world here, and so when you have a landmark and a threshold like this, it is significant. That's what we represent down here. So what goes into making them? I order them. them. I have a great merch guy. Trippy Pins is my merch guy. He makes the best hats out there, and hats for sale, right? It's another guy. I use two really spectacular people, and then I have my own brand called Einstein of Wall Street. So hats for sale, Trippy Pins, Einstein of Wall Street, the NYSE. It's all going on here. Listen to this enthusiasm.
We love it and we love you. Peter Tuchman, thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to a word from ICE.
Together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America is all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.
When you think of investment risk, do you consider climate risk? Changing weather patterns are impacting the way we live and the value of businesses, large and small. This can mean disruption to supply chains, changing demand for products, and shifting regulation. What does this mean for your business, your clients, and your investments? ICE offers data and markets that can provide critical insight. Manage your climate risk with ICE.
And here's a highlight of the most recent IPO here at the NYSE.
All of you, you have been relentless on this mission to secure the world's data. Rubrik is not a startup or a company with an exit. Rubrik has no exit. Rubrik has no finish line. Rubrik is our collective ambition to see what we can do and how far it goes.
Starting up a company and then taking it to the success that it has become is not an easy job, but you all did it.
We'll do whatever it takes to make sure that Rubrik has the highest opportunity to achieve its greatest potential. Big day, big inflection. Go Rubrik!
And back here at the NYSE on the floor here live, we're watching the markets move at this point. The Dow, we're seeing green arrows after a rough couple of days. The Dow dropping 1,000 points in just the past 2 days, past a few days actually. This is after the Dow hit that milestone of 40,000. So it was a little bit of a shocker to see all those red arrows. We are once again seeing green arrows today. I want to try to grab here the CEO of Oklo. He's Jacob DeWitte, co-founder and CEO of Oklo. They just rang the opening bell. Great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
How did it feel to ring that opening bell?
Very exciting, neat opportunity for us, for the company, for the mission that we're working towards. So just an honor to be here.
What motivated the founding of Oklo?
You know, we saw so much potential with what advanced nuclear power can do for the world. It was kind of hard not to want to start something that can be so truly transformative. Working on a technology that truly has the potential with a proven technology that can power the planet for 1 billion+ years with known reserves of materials. hard to be more inspired by something than that. So that's kind of what led us to think about how you'd build a company to deliver that mission and how we ultimately started the company.
Can you tell us more about the history of this fast fission technology that has over 400 proven reactor years?
Yeah, so it's a technology type where you basically rely on what are called high energy neutrons or fast neutrons to sustain a nuclear chain reaction. It's really cool because that allows you to take advantage of some unique characteristics of those kinds of neutrons to keep the system simple, have inherent safety features to it, and get the most energy out of the fuel that you can, including the ability to recycle waste. All in all, it's what got people like Enrico Fermi and those who started the work on this technology coming out of the Manhattan Project excited, and we're just excited to stand on the shoulders of those giants.
Oklo's business model is to act not just as an owner, but an operator of your plant. Tell me how this benefits your customer base.
Yeah, so our big thing one of the big things that we were really focused on when we were starting the company and thinking about what it should do was making it easier for folks who want to buy the clean, reliable, affordable power that a nuclear system can make, easier to buy. And that is where we focused on this idea where we design, own, operate the plants and sell power through power purchase agreements. And customers love it because it means they can get what they want without having to take on the high frictional sort of transactional nature that nuclear used to offer. And instead they get it a lot easier, and then it benefits us as well because we can scale that across our whole fleet, and then we can get the benefits of the recurring revenue streams and the ability to scale our projects as quickly as we can.
How can advanced fission like Oklo is working on help facilitate AI advancement?
I think right now we have this wild confluence of things going on in the energy landscape. You have a massive energy transition occurring where we're trying to move towards cleaner sources of energy that are more sustainable, while also looking at probably one of the most significant technological transformations we've ever seen with what AI brings to the table. It's such a massive tool for humanity, but it needs a lot of power to run. And it's the numbers actually can be kind of eye-watering in how large they are. So you want a source of energy that can be reliable and on 24/7, and ideally clean and massively scalable, because AI is going to be a massive accelerant for human development, and you need the energy to drive that. So you have a giant confluence of very exciting factors that are really constructive for us.
So then can Oklo scale in a meaningful way that can make an impact?
Yes, we start small because that allows us to get things built faster and iterate more quickly, but then scale that through and deliver at a much higher volume over time so that we can then align up with our offering in terms of the business model as well as the technology type and the features to meet what customers want, including on the data center side.
Is there a fundamental link between AI and energy, and will AI costs approximate future energy costs?
I think it's a great way to think about where AI ultimately goes to and compute goes to is ultimately being really built off of the cost of the energy needed to drive those systems. I think that's really what it's going to get to. And as a result, you want abundant, affordable energy. It just opens up the door for so many things, not just for AI. That's obviously a huge benefit, but when you look across the world, human development indexes almost always show that higher rates of energy consumption lead to much higher qualities of human life. So let's make it abundant, clean, and affordable.
How are you connected with the chair of your board and OpenAI founder, Sam Altman?
Yeah, so Sam's been a great friend and mentor of ours, even dating back to before we formally incorporated the business. Was our first investor, led our first round, became chair of our board. Has been a massive, just a massive supporter and a resource for my co-founder and I and our company as we've built. Obviously, he knows a lot about how to build phenomenal things, and leveraging that experience set and his mentorship has been huge for us. What's really flattering is he obviously focuses his time on OpenAI, and then where he spends his limited time outside of that is on energy. We're just thrilled that we're part of that, and given his expertise and what it looks like to deliver transformative tech and his experience so far, that's pretty amazing to have on your side.
All right, Jacob DeWitte, so great talking with you. Congratulations on this milestone.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
And that'll do it for us here at NYSE TV Live. But before we go, I want to toss it to our head of corporate affairs, Josh King, for today's last word. Josh.
Thank you so much, Allison. Such energy down on the floor. The sounds from Oklo after they were ringing the bell. I mean, it really does both talk to the energy of a company that is in the business of energy, and the energy that we have at the NYSE on the last trading day before Memorial Day and the summer begins. And then just listening to Jacob DeWitte talking about Enrico Fermi and the Manhattan Project and the sort of modest, humble sort of engineering approach that he takes to this challenge, it just warms your heart in some ways that the capital markets, the New York Stock Exchange, help enable companies like Oklo to get the money that they need to scale their business the way Jacob talks about it. And then just picking up on one thing that Allison asked Jacob right at the end about Sam Altman. You know, if there's one business executive who's been in the news a lot lately, it's Sam Altman. I had a chance to hear some of his views late last year at Time's Person of the Year dinner, where Sam was named CEO of the Year for 2023. But you can still get a big dose of headlines from just the last couple of days. ZDNet reported Sam Altman shares the next steps for AI at Microsoft Build. The San Francisco Chronicle notes that OpenAI's Sam Altman says he can no longer eat in public. And Bloomberg just yesterday came out with a story headlining, OpenAI is making journalism an offer it can't refuse. But what you've heard less about, until our NYSE TV live show today, is Sam Altman's foray into nuclear energy. You heard Jacob talk about it. When Sam's not working on OpenAI, he's thinking about energy. And he's thinking about it specifically through the company that you've just seen ring our bell, Oklo. That's NYSE ticker symbol OKLO. I went back and read a story in the Wall Street Journal from about a year ago, and I'm old enough, I admit, to remember growing up in the shadow of the Seabrook nuclear power plant in New Hampshire, and the long journey to get it online from the beginning of construction way back in 1976 to its commissioning in 1990. Oklo sees the market opportunity really differently. Do smaller projects, as Jason just talked about, and prove that they can deliver them on time and on budget. They'll need to in places like California, where Oklo is based, to sell kilowatts into the competitive power market. In that Wall Street Journal story I read, Sam Altman said the nuclear energy industry can make electricity that is, I'm going to quote him here, a way better deal than anything else out there. And Altman is just getting started in his energy endeavors. He's also backing nuclear fusion startup Helion Energy, which, the thinking goes, is going to generate electricity from the combination of hydrogen and helium, the same combo that gives stars their radiance. There's a cross-pollinating method to Altman's approach. You heard Jacob and Allison talking about it, of course. As Sam has said, the AI systems of the future will need tremendous amounts of energy, and this fission and fusion can help deliver them. And advances in AI, of course, can help with nuclear system designs. So, when the first Oklo reactors come online in Idaho and Ohio, after, naturally, they complete their licensing process with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, we're going to see if the company can deliver on the dream, the kind of dream that always gets a start from capital raised right here at the New York Stock Exchange. I'm Josh King. Best wishes for a pleasant Memorial Day weekend, and that's the last word.
Iconic brands speak for themselves. The strongest brands stand the test of time. We are so excited to welcome you to our community. Today is all about you.
We've never lost sight of what we're trying to do and deliver that mission.
Going through this experience with our partners and my family has been unbelievable.
We imagined something that didn't exist yet, and we believed that we could do it.
You're going to look back on this accomplishment as one of the finest you've ever done.
I want you to know that the best is yet to come.
Just a few minutes, we'll go downstairs to the legendary New York Stock Exchange trading floor to ring the opening bell. The history here, the tradition, it's just incredible for us to be at this moment.